It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview a Canadian canoeist, Haley Daniels. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. And how about yourself?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into professional canoeing?
I think that it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do. And when I was in high school, I was always very energetic, and my parents took me to a kayaking camp, and I really liked it. And then it kind of just became natural that I continued on the sport and got into canoeing after that. So it was never really like a moment. I think it was just a progression into getting better each day, each week, each month.
What was it like competing in the C1 and K1?
It was quite difficult doing both categories. So whenever we fly somewhere, we actually fly with our boats and our paddles and all of our gear. So you can imagine rolling up at the airport and you've got two boats and a suitcase and a paddle bag and things like that. So and then you had to get in a different mindset because the course is still the same, but you're paddling it a little differently. So yeah, it was difficult, but I still love doing it. And I'm going to hopefully get back into kayak again this year.
What was that like traveling with all of your stuff and your canoe?
You just have to be very strategic and know the ins and the outs of airports. But you also just have to be patient and calm because airports are complete chaos, and you have a lot of stuff and people are not moving out of the way for you. So yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and you just have to kind of anticipate it and be ready for it. And yeah.
How was it like winning the bronze medal in 2015 in Toronto?
Yeah, that was a really special moment. It was my one and only home games experience. So being able to win a medal on home soil was very cool, and having all of Canada behind me and cheering me on. And I think for me, that was the first moment that I really realized that there was a chance that I could go to Tokyo and that I could fight for a spot for women's canoe. So yeah, I think that it was just a special moment for myself and my family for all the hard work.
Of course, coming off of the Toronto experience, what was it like getting prepared for the Tokyo experience?
Um, Tokyo was a unique games, as we all know. So COVID definitely threw us a curveball where I went through 2 Olympic years in a row of qualifications. So I think the preparation for Tokyo was a lot more it just was a lot more intense just because there was a lot more on the line. But I think that there's a lot of parallels, like you work with your team and you're on the water as much as possible. You're getting to know the place you want to perform, and then you are tapering, and then race day comes and you have a race plan and you execute.
How is it like obviously getting prepared to compete?
Um, Yeah, so preparation for competing is, I mean, there's so many aspects to it, but I think the biggest thing for me is having my mind in a good place and being recovered. So I try to make time to be rested and make time to be happy and do some things that give me energy so that when I get to the start line, I feel completely free and ready to race.
What was the feeling like whenever you got to put on the Team Canada jersey for the first time?
I am a proud Canadian. I think even though we've had some very hard years and some recent events that have kind of shamed Canada a little bit, I think that I am still proud to wear the maple leaf and wearing. I remember being at team trials and not making the national team and seeing everyone get the uniform, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait until I am able to have that uniform. And the first year that I was able to get it, it was a special moment because I could wear it proudly and say that I was on the Canadian team. So that was definitely a cool moment for me.
What was the 2015 Pan American Games like?
There was a lot of hype around them because they were in Canada, and Toronto was preparing to put a bid in for the Olympics at that time. So they definitely made it feel like an Olympics. So yeah, it was just a lot of really cool experiences. We were in a satellite village, so we actually didn't stay in the Olympic Village for very long, but being a part of the Olympic Village for a couple days was very cool, and going into the food hall and seeing all the different athletes from different countries is always a really cool experience.
What is it like for you to compete in the ICF World Cup since 2009?
Yeah, so the World Cups are a privilege. You have to be on the national team to go, and then when you race, you're hoping to do your best. And for me, it's just a really fun time because so many of my good friends are on the circuit, and we get to hang out and talk about the course, and then we get to try our best to do well on the course. So I'm looking forward to the World Cups again this year.
How was the 2017 World Cup finals like for the first time?
That was an extreme slalom. So that's a new category, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's a new category in the Paris Olympics. So it's kind of like ski cross, but you go down a course in a plastic boat, and you have 4 people going down negotiating the course at a time. So this is one of my favorite parts of paddling. So I'm really excited to execute that coming up. And being in the final was an exciting thing just because it allowed me to see that I'm a contender on the world stage.
What is something that you learned now that you didn't know before starting your career?
Um, I think that hard work has something that's been intrinsically built in me, and I never really considered myself a successful person. But I think now looking back, I mean, there's obviously been some successes, but I think the biggest thing is that I followed my passion. So passion has led me to where I've gotten.
How does it feel to know, obviously, when people recognize you, Olympian is behind your last name, and of course, Olympian bronze medal, I'm sorry, is behind your last name too?
I'm no different than I was before. So I'm still regular Haley. I still have my silly moments, and I trip on sidewalks and everything like that. I think, having an Olympian beside my name is an accomplishment that I'm very proud of. And once an Olympian, always an Olympian. So I am very excited to have that a part of my life. But at the same time, I am also a normal person who just loves chocolate and popcorn and hanging out and watching movies. And I think that I know it will help me in my successes in the future. But right now, I'm just regular old Haley.
What was it like going to the Olympic Village this year in 2020?
So I don't have another Olympic experience to compare it to, but the Olympic Village was definitely very cool. It was right on the Tokyo Bay, in the middle of Tokyo. So there was a lot of COVID protocols. So we needed to wear masks everywhere and wear gloves when we were in the food hall. But the food hall was the coolest part because you got to see all the different athletes and athletes you'd looked up to, seeing skateboarders in the Olympics and then seeing them skate around the food venue and things like that. Yeah, it was a very cool experience, and I'm very grateful that I was able to experience it.
Of course, while you were in the village, were there any people that you were like, oh my God, I'm here with this person that I've looked up to?
Oh yeah, there were lots. I mean, Naomi Osaka, the Penny Olisiak from Team Canada. I saw Yao Ming, which was pretty cool, or Djokovic, or a lot of different beach volleyball players and things like that. So I think the thing I realized though is that, the Olympic Village is just a place where we eat and sleep. And so they were there to just eat and sleep as well. So I fangirled a little bit, but I did it at a distance.
Who are some people that you look up to in your career?
There's so many people that have shaped who I am and who I look up to, but I think for me, someone that I look up to a lot is my coach who led me here, Michael Holroyd. He just worked so hard and put so much on the line to create such an amazing program here in Canada. And I am the athlete I am today because of him.
What are some of your future plans as you continue your career?
I am definitely full steam ahead right now towards Paris 2024. So I'm excited about that. And I'm training every day to get to that goal. I look at life after sport at some point. I'd like to have a family and maybe a job within the sponsorship realm of sports. But right now I'm very much so an athlete, and I love that part of my life.
What are you preparing for, obviously, for Paris 2024?
So Olympic qualifications are 2 years away, and they're at the World Championships in London. So I am spending as much time on the water right now and fundraising so that I can pay for my season, and just maintaining my fitness and getting my mind ready for those races to come.
What is it going to be like, obviously, in 2024, hopefully with fans there, that your family and fans can see you compete?
Oh, that'll be so awesome. I really hope that that's going to be a possibility. I had my dad with me in Tokyo because she's a judge, but I would love to have my brother and my mom there. So um, I'm really excited to hopefully share that experience. And first step is getting qualified, and then second step is hopefully going to the Olympics again.
What advice would you give current females and even players looking to compete in canoeing?
If they wanted to get into it and if they want to compete, I think some good things to think about is just have fun on the water. I mean, as much as it is important to be serious and look at growth and being better every day, you have to do it every day. And you get to do it every day. So I think that having fun with training and looking at how awesome our job is, that really helps the grind and motivation every day.
What advice would you give Olympians looking to compete for the first time and go to the Olympics, or whether it's there are multiple times going?
I feel like this is cliche, but really enjoy the journey. I look at my experience of being a high performance athlete and an Olympian, and the Olympics are such a small part of my sporting career and such a small part of what I've done. And yes, they are an incredible part, but I think that the leading up to it and the places we were able to go and the people I was able to meet and the things I've learned as a person being a high performance athlete was what I will take with me when I do decide to end sport at some point. So just remember that to open your eyes a little bit when you're in these places and not be so focused on that end goal.
What advice would you give the Olympians that are obviously, once they compete, they go back to obviously their jobs and balance obviously being an Olympian and being a career person?
Balance is probably one of the hardest things that I have struggled with as an athlete. We travel for anywhere to 5 to 9 months of the year. So we're away a lot, and being around my friends and family and having a job outside of sport has been difficult. But I think the most important thing is planning recovery and planning time that you can spend time with friends and family. And it's almost never balanced. You just have to continue to try and balance it. That's all I can say.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I'm on Instagram, which is Haley Dansky, and I haven't really gone on TikTok yet. Maybe I will, who knows? But you can find me on my website, haylydaniels.ca. And
Thank you again, Haley Daniels, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as you begin your preparation for Paris.
Thank you for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Haley Daniels, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.